as a city councilman.
Say this is for kids only. Hey kids, Petaluma Pete here, and we are in downtown Petaluma today. I just bought an umbrella. There's a good reason for it too. We're all dressed up because we're going someplace very special. And the word that we are going to learn is umbrella. So you want to know more? Come with me. The word umbrella, kids, metaphorically speaking, can be described as an organization or policy that covers or encompasses a number of groups or elements. Well, this is a picture of an umbrella, kids, and it's associated with an organization that encompasses a number of deserving nonprofit groups. The name of this organization is the Petaluma Community Foundation, and not long ago, we found ourselves trekking under these big green umbrellas, kids. They were lining the walkway and guiding us into this mysterious cave with watery-looking padded walls and colorful flowers. This cave brought us out the other side into a huge room full of merciful moms, delightful dads, and just a whole gaggle of gracious grown-ups who were there to donate money to a list of individual deserving Petaluma nonprofit groups by rubbing their necks and writing some checks, not to the individual nonprofit groups, but to the Petaluma Community Foundation, which is the umbrella organization that collects the pledges, helps account for the numbers, and then turns around and distributes these donations. And is this a long sentence or what? The official name of this event, kids, is the Petaluma Community Foundation Annual Denny Murray Grant Awards and Community Celebration. And while these good people look like they are having more fun than a frog in a glass of milk, the evening is really about the serious business of helping Petaluma people in need with money that is accounted for. One of my favorite things to see, kids, were these twinkly blue lights on these little artsy trees that were sitting on each table, and each table had signs on them so the grown-ups knew where to sit, especially later in the evening. And each sign indicated a sponsoring Petaluma area company that was donating money, and the room was really starting to get crowded. There was a stage there, kids, with lights and a DJ, and umbrellas were decorating the front. And these really smart people got up in front of everyone and talked about how Petaluma Community Foundation is committed to fulfilling their role as the primary broad-based charitable catalyst for Greater Petaluma. And they had movies there, kids, with even more people talking about how the Petaluma Community Foundation is also committed to improving the lives of youth, families, and seniors by providing grants to organizations that have a successful track record in making a real and lasting difference in the lives of those served. Then they just got right to it, kids. No silent auctions, no raffles, no dollar kisses booth. Just whip out the checkbook or credit card and give till it helps was the order of the day. Round up your adults, kids, and bring them to this video screen so they can learn about how the Petaluma Community Foundation is the preferred source for charitable investment because of an annual streamlined grant-making process that includes site visits and advice from local community leaders and those in need. Your tax-deductible gift to Petaluma Foundation is carefully invested among our most trusted local organizations. The checks and the credit card donations were then collected by members of the Petaluma Community Foundation umbrella organization, while Petaluma Pete chased them all around the room with his video camera. The envelopes were carried over to a central desk at the front of the room where they were opened, emptied, counted, and tallied, while the people back at the tables started to partay like it was 1999. After all the donations were counted, one of the adults got up on the stage, grabbed the microphone, and made the announcement everyone was hoping for.
So everybody, I have the most amazing news. The Denny Murray Memorial Fund that we intend to grow each and every year now has $30,000. Because of this fund, Petaluma Community Foundation has now reached its goal, and we will be able to award a total of $125,000 tonight to our local nonprofit. It just doesn't get any better than this, does it? No. So I want to thank all of you for being so incredibly generous and kind and caring. And you know what? It is true. We have the best nonprofits in the Bay Area.
Well, that about wraps it up, kids. Until next time, remember to be nice to everyone, listen to your teachers, and eat more veggies. And everybody, get home safe.
Thank you for joining us. We are fortunate enough to be in Petaluma at the Petaluma Yacht Club, and it's a lovely day, of course. And John Maher is with us right now, otherwise known as Petaluma Pete. I've been finding out about what that is. This man is an interesting marketing character. That's what I have to say. You know, with the hat, with the rest of it. So you took a piano out in the street. Is that what happened?
I did. When I arrived in town,
From Los Angeles, huh?
From Los Angeles. I had a client here. I was freelance marketing. And when I came to Petaluma to meet with the client, I took one look at the town and I just said, I have to live here. I just must live here. So at lunchtime, I talked the client into hiring me full-time for about half of what I was making before.
I see.
And Brenda, my bride of 38 years, and I moved here from Los Angeles. We have a house down on 5th Street. And I got the inspiration to buy an old upright piano because I am a old broken down honky tonk piano player. And I took the piano out on the street, put Petaluma Pete on the front, and started playing, and one thing led to another. The town embraced it. The current mayor interviewed the character. And since then I have been doing kind of advocacy work for the town and have become kind of a spokesman for Sonoma County in the interim.
And when you said to your wife of X number of years, we're moving, dear, to Petaluma, and she said, what's that?
Actually, she did say, what's that? But she was pretty fed up with LA as well.
Yeah, well, she was ready to go. I can understand. I mean, LA's got its place, but not for us.
No.
Let's put it that way. When you took the player piano out on the street, now I have a player piano, belonged to my grandparents. They weigh more than 10 pounds.
Well, first of all,
they are very heavy. And I hope it's on wheels, John.
A player piano is a piano that plays by itself.
Oh, that kind of player piano.
And this is not a player piano.
This is not like
this is a piano that needs a player.
I see.
It's about 700 pounds. It's an 1890s Palmer made in Canada. I found it on Craigslist across the river. When I discovered it and they opened the garage door, it was sitting on one caster on a kilter and the front had been caved in. And I thought, I don't want this piano. And the person who wanted to get rid of it said, just play it. And when I did, it just almost blew me away.
You fell in love.
Just incredible. The most incredible sounding piano I've ever heard for that kind of music, honky-tonk Dixieland music. Well, so I brought it home, painted it up.
And now do people see you on the street occasionally playing that? Or
yes, sir.
for events and different kinds of things?
I started out at the corner of Western and Petaluma about 3 years ago. And it built from there. And I also do videos now for the local Petaluma 360 Argus Courier newspaper website. It's called Petaluma Pete's for Kids Corner, for kids only. And it's a very tongue-in-cheek situation where I go and videotape events that are taking place and then talk to the kids. So you can get away with murder when you do that.
I see.
And you don't have to be accurate either. So it's
just make it up as you go along.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, when you went out in the street, you need a license to go out and. Here comes Pete with that 800-pound piano.
I never asked, and I don't know, but
and no one's ever asked you.
I think the reason for it is because I'm lucky. I'm an old guy, so I'm relatively harmless. And
Now,
the music is universal.
Don't badmouth older guys.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I
Yes.
mean we have to stick together. Haven't we? You know?
Still got some up
Well,
here.
yeah,
but
it's more than I
not
do,
a whole
you
heck of a
know.
lot anymore.
Yeah. So you're part of the community in the sense of marketing and also being involved in different events. And with the kids is great. I think
Correct.
it's terrific.
Correct, and it's a lot of fun, and the people are great, and the music that I play is very universal. It's New Orleans-styled honky-tonk, so everybody likes it, young and old.
Oh,
So
you bet. That's
I think
terrific.
that has something to do with it as well.
Yeah. And when did you start playing the piano?
Oh, I think I might have been 4.
Yeah.
Strictly key of C.
Just really.
And I've learned by ear, listened to Mitch Miller and sing along, and my hero was Joanne Castle on, what was it, Lawrence Welk show when I was a little kid.
Yeah, well, you learned well. Nice to have you here, John.
Thank you.
John Maher has been our guest, otherwise known as Petaluma Pete. We're in Petaluma. Thanks for watching.
And you didn't ask me much.
This is for kids only. This is for kids only. This is for kids only.
This is for kids only.
Relatively speaking, kids, life was good in downtown Petaluma this year. The downtown events were a smashing success. A new river festival made its debut, the farmers market was the talk of the town, and through it all, Petaluma Pete was there, playing music and videotaping so the outside world could see what a great destination we have in Petaluma. For almost 2 years now, Petaluma Pete has been storing his Red Ragger piano downtown, way out of the way, in the lobby of a big building, with the knowledge and kindness of all the wonderful business people who have their shops there. But all that changed when Petaluma Pete was alerted by Mr. Scary Out-of-Town Deed Holder, who came to kick him out. That's right. Mr. Scary Out-of-Town Deed Holder didn't care about anything but making money.
Narc, narc, narc.
He laughed. He really had a weird laugh, kids.
I don't care if the piano is not in the way, and I don't care if other merchants are cool with it.
He said.
If you don't come across with some cash, Petaluma Pete, you have 2 days to get out of there.
Oh, please, Mr. Scary Out-of-Town Deed Holder, Petaluma Pete said. That would ruin my piano.
I don't care.
But the kids love Petaluma Pete.
I don't like kids.
But Petaluma Pete needs the storage space.
I don't like you.
But this would be great public relations for you.
I don't like me.
Okay, if I have to give you money, how much do you want?
$600.
$600? That seems like a pretty steep yearly fee for 10 square feet.
That's $600 a month, you silly goose. This is business, Petaluma Pete. 600 clams a month, or the puppy gets it.
The lessons learned here should not be one of regret or disappointment, kids. Business is business. And into everyone's beautiful days, there can come a little rain. What matters is how you deal with disappointment, kids. Some people, even after they become adults, still don't understand the value of sharing. So Petaluma Pete wants you to forgive Mr. Scary Out-of-Town Deed Holder, kids, and look for a positive side of even this situation. He also wants you to remember, as always, to be nice to everyone, listen to your teachers, and eat more veggies.
This is for kids only. This is for kids only. This is for kids only. Esto solo es para niños.
be continued, you bet. You might remember from part 1 of this story, kids, that Petaluma Pete's Red Ragger piano was without a home. So let's turn back the hands of time here and pick up where we left off, with the search continuing for a building where the Red Ragger piano could rest its weary hammers. Now, if buildings could talk, kids, and if there was any building downtown that could give us answers about what the other buildings are thinking, it would have to be the old clock tower, the all-knowing, great and timely Seth, who sits high atop the Masonic temple structure and watches over us all. So because this is just a story and we can take it anywhere we want to, we find ourselves rolling down the sidewalk toward the great and timely Seth. And upon our arrival, the sky got really dark all of a sudden, kids, and this bright light appeared behind it for special effects. And there was this choir singing in the soundtrack. And the mighty Seth woke up and said,
How you doing?
Not so good, said Petaluma Pete. Do you know of any other buildings in town who may have offered to help?
I sure do. The very first offer came from the Sonoma Bank building. Dan and Chetta over there offered to place the Red Ragger piano in the window, but the hill would be too steep for an old guy like you. I also heard from the PEP housing building by way of Kerry Miller, but the distance was too far. Then the Central Market offered to store the Red Ragger piano out back, but the weather would not be good.
Anything over on Kentucky Street?
Yep. My old buddy, the Landmark building, specifically Chris from Lions and Tigers and Hare, tried to help, but it turns out that space was also too small. And then the Jungle Vibes building told me about how Connie and the gang over there were trying to allocate some retail floor space, but so far, no go.
This is when Petaluma Pete told the mighty Seth about how media people jumped in to help, including the Argus Courier, Jenny Petaluma from the Visitors Center, our buddy Houston, who wrote about it in his Petaluma 360 Above the Brim blog, and then there was Steve Rustad, who drew his own special brand of political cartoon to help spread the word around town.
Well, it must have worked,
said the timely Seth,
because I just got a message from that young whippersnapper clock tower over at the theater square, and they have the perfect room for you.
Sure enough, Basin Street Properties has saved the day by offering their community room for storage. So with that, the Red Ragger piano made its way to its new home. Theater Square has a new piano player, when no one else is already playing there. And our local businesses have shown, once again, how a positive outlook and community sharing make Petaluma the coolest downtown in the history of mankind. So, until next time, kids, remember to be nice to everyone, listen to your teachers, and eat more veggies.
In downtown Petaluma today, and I just bought a beautiful picture of a beautiful dog. But you know what? Where we're going to go today has nothing to do with beautiful dogs. As a matter of fact, we're going to learn a new word today, and that word is ugly. So you want to know more? Come with me.
The word ugly, kids, can be described as very unattractive or unpleasant to look at. And if you want to see what ugly is all about, watch what unfolds at the 24th Annual World's Ugliest Dog Contest at the 2012 Sonoma Marin Fair right here in Petaluma. This is an event that has become so big there was for the first time a black limousine sitting right next to the stage, waiting to transport the winning ugly dog and the dog's owner from the fairgrounds directly to the Sheraton Sonoma County to be treated to a gourmet dinner in a private suite. The media was there from all over the world, kids. There were television network broadcasters, news personality interviewers, video production crews, and newspaper photographers, all scrambling for position, and the whole area was jam-packed with excited fair attendees, family members, animal lovers, and hundreds of kids just like you. The contest was kicked off with a grand entrance of the ugly canine contestants and their owners at 6 o'clock sharp. This world-renowned event always delivers big entertainment at the fair, with 30 or more ugly dogs and their owners on parade, a packed house, funny hosts and judges, and some new spins for you and your adults, kids. This year, pet psychic Sonia Fitzpatrick hosted the show, and for the first time the audience got to hear how the dogs were feeling about the event. Some of these animals were so ugly, kids, they even made Petaluma Pete's dogs look good, and that's saying a lot. This one was kind of cute, but his tongue was sort of broken, kids, so I guess the judges let the little guy compete because they felt sorry for him. This one has a face only a mother could love, and the owner said he was so ugly he once turned milk into yogurt just by looking at it. This one is so ugly it has to sneak up on a bowl just to get a drink of water. This one is so ugly it even makes blind people cry. This little guy is so ugly he has to trick or treat by telephone. You know, there's also a lot of truth to how dogs and their humans can start looking alike, kids. This canine and his owners share a hair thing. Or I guess you could say a lack of hair thing. And Petaluma Pete's favorite pair came rocking down the backstage ramp, sharing a dual mohawk and a heavy metal attitude, and really got a rise out of the crowd. Each ugly contestant was invited up on the stage and scrutinized by a panel of judges who petted them, the dogs, not the owners. And then they wrote down their impressions based on different criteria, which also included personality and overall vibe, right along with the level of ugly they brought to the table. Speaking of which, kids, the level of ugly in this lineup was off the charts. There were even winners from past ugly dog contests who were back to protect their crown, and a whole gaggle of newcomers were showing up to challenge them. As our master of ceremonies moved the process along, the judges whittled everything down to 2 finalists. 2 dogs that were so ugly they could brighten up a room just by leaving it. The winner was chosen and then escorted down off the stage and led to the waiting limousine through a crazy crowd of news people and spectators that bounced Petaluma Pete around like a basketball, kids. However, once the winner and the owner were safely stashed away inside the vehicle, we were able to spend some quiet time with them on the way to the Sheraton so that you and your adults could get to know them up close and personal. This is Mugly.
Yes, this is Mugly. He is an 8-year-old Chinese crested who has just won the world's ugliest dog.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you are the owner?
I am the owner, yes.
And your name is?
My name's Bev Nicholson.
And you are from?
I'm from Peterborough in England.
No kidding. We have a international affair going here.
The very first British entrant and the very first international winner.
And what is your name,
My
ma'am?
name's Sonia Fitzpatrick.
And what do you do, pray tell?
I talk to animals and they talk back to me.
Is that right?
They do.
All right,
Well then.
go ahead and go, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Mugsley must be very proud.
Mugly is so chilled.
I'm sorry, Mugly.
Mugly,
Shame
yes.
on me.
Mugly is so chilled. He just sits and takes it all in. And he
wants to eat.
He probably is really hungry.
Yeah, he's hungry. Just that, will you have any chicken for him when you get here?
I hope so.
Well, we'll have some wonderful things for you when we get there, and we are heading for the Sheraton in Petaluma,
Oh, lovely.
and we are going to feed us all.
Oh, excellent.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. I am overwhelmed. I can't tell you.
Well, your baby's just won a very big competition,
I know,
darling.
I
Isn't that
know.
great?
You're a good boy. Very good boy.
Well, that about wraps it up for now, kids. Please tell your adults that because this year's winner was from England, Petaluma's Ugliest Dog Contest is now officially an international annual event, so next year promises to be bigger and better than ever. So, until next time, don't forget to be nice to everyone, listen to your teachers, and eat more veggies.
Are you ready?
Oh yeah!
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back for it's root for the whole team. Hey, don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
This is for kids only.
Hey kids, Petaluma Pete here, and we are in downtown Petaluma today, and I just bought a boat, and I'm in a hurry too. So come with me and I'll tell you what the new word is. The boat I bought is for the word marina. Have you ever heard that word before? Well, if you want to know more, if you want to learn more about a marina, come with me. The word marina, kids, can be defined as an elaborate docking facility for pleasure boats. And there's no cooler marina in the history of mankind than the one you will find right here in Petaluma at the Petaluma Marina Business Center. And you and your adults can view this impressive structure in all its glory right there from your vehicle as you roll into town. This whole area was the first thing Petaluma Pete saw on his first trip to Petaluma, kids, and was certainly a big reason why he decided to move here. Would you like to know how lucky you are to live here, kids? Ask your adults to count on one hand how many towns they know of that have a river running through it, a drawbridge, a wetlands birdwatcher's paradise, and a marina all in the same place. I'll bet they can't. Our taxi dropped us off right at the water's edge, kids, and it was a wonderful sight. There before us were big boats, little boats, sailboats, speedboats, dinghies, dories, kayaks, ketches, rafts, rowboats, scows, skiffs, yachts, and yawls. A whole gaggle of floating craft that included some with feathers, wings, flippers, and attitude. All gathered together right outside a whole building full of office spaces with office people who must enjoy a spectacular daily view out those windows like no other in town, or in any town for that matter. We saw this big long dock there, kids, where your grown-ups can walk and talk, and they have this driveway that goes right down into the water, so you can back your boat trailer right into the water, and then drive your boat over it, tie it down, and then just drive away. One of my favorite things to see every time I come here are all the different names that are painted on the boats. Some of them might be names of the people who own the boats, and others are pretty silly, but all of them are just plain fun, like Mellow. And here's one that says, Love it. River Gal is a good one. Danish Diva is another silly one. And Elegant Lady. That's right. Another completely wonderful thing about this marina, kids, is that it also has a really nice hotel in the same complex. So your friends from out of town can stay there. And without having to drive, they can spend as many days as they want enjoying the water and enjoying Schellenberger Park, which is located right there. Several hundred kids and their grown-ups visit here every day. The park features a 2-mile circular trail and a 1-mile trail through Almond Marsh to, you guessed it, the Petaluma Marina. So visitors can walk the trails, they watch the birds, and even relax with a little fishing like these guys here. That's when we decided to head over to the Business Center office, kids, to see if they would let us go inside the building to the very top floor and look out of one of the office windows down at the marina. Now brace yourself, kids, because what you are about to see is one of the most breathtaking views in all of Sonoma County, right here in Petaluma. Don't you just love this town? Well, that about wraps it up, kids. But before we call back that taxi cab, please remember to be nice to everyone, listen to your teachers, and eat more veggies. And everybody get home safe.
This is for kids.
Right, now, look right in there, okay? Literally, I love this. When I say 3, you want to say, this is for kids only. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
This is for kids only.
Hey kids, Petaluma Pete here, and we're in downtown Petaluma today, and we're going to learn a new word. That word is signage. Have you ever heard that word before? Signage? Well, if you want to know more, come with me. Signage is described as graphic designs, symbols, emblems, or words used especially for identification or as a means of giving directions or warning. Some Petaluma signs are like every other town, kids, and others you would only find here. What many have in common here is creativity, and Petaluma Pete sees them as art. Commercial art. All you have to do is walk around downtown or just about anywhere in Petaluma, kids, and the eye candy is all around you. Stroll down the sidewalk and look up, and you'll see all sorts of signage and all sorts of configurations. Some of them are really old. Some are new. Some are not even commercial at all. But every sign you see adds to the flavor and personality of our great town. There are signs that are actually part of the buildings, and signs that have creative shapes to them, signs that are temporary, and signs that are portable. There are signs on doors, and signs in all the parks. My favorite kind of sign is one that is shaped like the product they sell, and those that are made by hand. Vehicle signs are also very cool. But regardless of what you like the best, kids, it's just a lot of fun to look at Petaluma signage from the standpoint of art, because every time someone creates a sign, they have to choose colors, they have to decide what sort of image they want to project, they have to take into consideration how the art is going to be used in other applications. In other words, businesses need calling cards and letterheads and brochures and websites, and they might need smaller signs inside their place of business. Petaluma Pete stumbled across a good example of smaller inside signage when he was invited to play his piano over at Whole Foods to help them celebrate 30 years in business and 10 years in Petaluma. Best part of all is that Petaluma Pete actually got paid. The joint was jumping with adults and kids from all over Petaluma, and that was a good sign. The need for small inside signage was very real, especially on these big long tables where the people were treated to all sorts of free birthday celebration food. These inside signs are printed with black ink on a pre-printed color template, kids. This allows the presentation of the product to be done consistently with the same look, while changing the descriptions to fit the food the signage is representing. Cool, huh? Petaluma Pete's favorite was the ice cream, so he went ahead and sampled some, breaking his diet just this once, since Mrs. Petaluma Pete was not there anyway. Other inside signage included all sorts of recycle messages where your adults can put their plastic bags, their old obsolete cell phones, and their used up batteries. That was also a different kind of sign, kids. A sign of being a community team player. Finally, the best inside signage Petaluma Pete has seen in a long time appeared, kids. It was made of cake, proving conclusively that signage can be created from anything you can think of. All you have to do is use your imagination. Well, that about wraps it up, kids. Until next time, remember to be nice to everyone, listen to your teachers, and eat more veggies.
This is for kids. This is for kids. This is for kids.
Hey kids, Petaluma Pete here, and we are in downtown Petaluma today. And I just bought this. I don't even know what it is. But it's part of the spirit about a new term that we are going to learn, and that term is called cash mob. Have you ever heard that before? Well, if you want to come with me, what we're going to do is visit a lot of the stores downtown that are involved in the cash mob all through the summer, all the way into Christmas. You want to know more? Come with me. A cash mob can be described as a gathering similar to a flash mob organized through social media, where a group meets near a small business and spends about $20 each. While we explain more about what a cash mob is, let's actually follow along here and take a video tour of some of the businesses on the Petaluma cash mob list while we learn more about it. A cash mob, kids, is an idea designed to encourage your grown-ups to visit small, local businesses and spend their money to give the business owner a little bit of economic stimulus. The idea is to help businesses grow, make people happy, get stuff we would probably buy anyway, while helping our community and having a great time. Cash mobs have been sprouting up all across the U.S., Canada, and around the world. While organized by many different groups of people, they all appear to have the same goal in mind: to support local businesses that they love. One of Petaluma Pete's favorite things about cash mobs, kids, is they are not affiliated with any political or social organization. They are also not affiliated with any corporation, no movements, and they are not meant to be an answer to economic crisis. By and large, those that organize cash mobs are simply people trying to make a positive impact on the businesses in their communities. And because Petaluma Pete is such a fan of downtown Petaluma, kids, our taxi ride is taking us up and down Petaluma Boulevard, Theater Square, and Kentucky Street, with a listing and directions to more locations so everyone else does not feel left out. So round up your adults, kids, and bring them together to watch this video, because now that we know why, we are about to tell you who, where, and when our very own Petaluma Cash Mob events are going to take place from now all the way to the holiday gift-giving season in just 3 simple steps. Step 1. The first thing you want to do is tell your grown-ups to visit the Petaluma Cash Mob Facebook page, or just Google Petaluma Cash Mob. There you will find all sorts of comments and observations about this grassroots movement, along with a list, or better yet, a schedule of cash mob events that will be taking place all over Petaluma. Step 2. If your grown-up does not have a Facebook account, you can simply email Petaluma Pete at petalumapete1@aol.com, and you will receive an email back with this schedule attached. Step 3, print 2 copies of this schedule, kids, on a fresh analog piece of paper, and then post one of them on your refrigerator and tape the other copy onto your favorite grown-up's forehead. The concept is simple, kids, but some of your adults might be a little slow, so explain it to them like this. Organizers select a local independent business that has usually been around so long that they have been somewhat forgotten because of all the new big box stores and shopping malls springing up everywhere. Then by using the power of social media, mostly Facebook and Twitter, a wave of awareness is created with the end result being a scheduled visit to this business by all interested members of the Petaluma community. From hardware stores to restaurants, kids, people show up with $20, give or take a few bucks, and show their support with a purchase. These events usually bring together old friends and neighborhood acquaintances who often share stories about the businesses they are gathered at. Not only is the cash mob rekindling that old-fashioned support of a local business, kids, but it makes for a good day. Dollars in the cash register at the participating merchant. Because we really want to know what you think contributed to the success of the cash mob and what you would do differently to make it even better for the next event on the list. Well, that about wraps it up, kids. But before we go, please remember to be nice to everyone, listen to your teachers, and eat more veggies. And everybody, get home safe.
for kids only.
This is for kids only.
Hey kids, Petaluma Pete here, and we are in downtown Petaluma today. We are at the 5th annual tribute to American Graffiti, and the hot rods are all over the place. And the new word that we are going to learn today is fibulate. Have you ever heard that word before? Well, come with me and let's find out what it's all about. What the heck does fibrillate mean, kids? And what does it have to do with Petaluma's tribute to the American Graffiti movie? Well, this is more than just over 400 cool cars taking over the downtown area for a day, because the most important aspect of this event is that it is a fundraiser, with money going to pay for lots of community needs, including those electric shock machines that you see on those corny hospital TV shows. You know, the ones that go, clear, boosh. The word fibrillate has to do with heart function, kids, and these electric shock machines are called defibrillators. And they actually had vintage defibrillators at the American Graffiti event still sitting in these vintage Cadillac ambulances. Or I guess that would be ambuli. And while these defibrillators look like something out of an early Star Trek episode, the theory was the same, where electric shock is applied to the person whose heart stopped to get it beating again and save a life. This event is put on by Cruisin' the Boulevard, Inc., kids, and so far through their Petaluma Save a Life project, they have installed 26 automated external defibrillators, AEDs, in Petaluma high schools and in police patrol cars. Today's modern defibrillators look a lot different than they did back in the days of those old vintage Cadillacs, and here One of Petaluma's finest tells us a little bit about it.
So this is an AED, it's an automatic defibrillator, and it helps us in life-threatening situations when people need help or might be going into cardiac arrest. Heart stops.
What does it look like? So first, think of Petaluma's tribute to American Graffiti event as a community fundraiser, kids, with the side benefit of providing the coolest day of vintage car cruising in the coolest downtown area on the planet. Well, that about wraps it up, kids. But before we go, Petaluma Pete would like to introduce you to an art form that, back when he was a kid, captured the imagination of every car lover, called the hood ornament. Hood ornaments actually started out as decorated radiator caps. A lot of them had clear openings in the center where the radiator water would bubble up into it when it got hot, so the driver could see it from inside the car. These caps would be decorated every which way and painted, chromed, and even gold-plated. And as designs became more modern, they would become sleek and flat and aerodynamic looking, and here's one that has this beautiful bird perched on top of it. Birds and wings were really popular back then, and as the radiator eventually disappeared under the hood, the tradition remained, and hood ornaments became a constant source of creative design in the automobile business, kids. They became abstract sculptures of molded metal, some giving the impression they were moving at a high rate of speed, even when the car was standing still. Here's one that looks like a speeding train cutting through the countryside on tracks of chrome. This one has the number 8 on the front to let people know how many cylinders are under the hood. And this one has a V8 on it and looks like a speeding missile, only perched on a very cool stem to set it up and away from the car. Here's another one sitting on a stem that makes you think of a 50s cartoon, or maybe flying saucers streaking across the sky. Early explorers and ocean ships were also a very popular theme back then, kids. Clipper ships were all the rage because they were huge and fast and conjured up freedom and travel. Car companies competed with one another, hiring real artists to work side by side with the automakers to come up with the works of art that would help create more desire for the vehicle on the showroom floor. Here's a really interesting idea where the hood ornament also doubles as a latch that opens the hood when you turn it to the right. Very cool. I remember looking up at this one when I was a kid. The whole world is presented here in bronze with chrome trim right smack in the middle of the hood, right over the front grille. Now here's a 40 Ford, Petaluma Pete's favorite model, with a hood ornament that stretches up from the top of the grille, around the front, along the hood, and all the way up to the windshield. And look here, kids, this hood ornament has Petaluma Pete inside it, waving at everyone. The carving on the side is sort of like a ram's horns or maybe an ocean wave, and the chrome is trimmed with red paint. Here is an elegant hood ornament that showcases a beautiful greyhound-looking dog that artfully appears to be running at full speed. And because the cars back then were such a man thing compared to today, the female form was also incorporated in a big way. Here's one with wings and a head that tapers all the way back like it's being stretched by the wind. And this young lady sits proudly like a figurehead at the bow of a sailing ship with the wind blowing through her long hair. And this one really brings it all together, with a young female dressed in flowing garments, and her arms are also like the feathered wings of a free bird, while she watches over the front of this Rolls like a guardian angel. Plastic was also huge for a while when designing the hottest hood ornaments, kids. Here we see another young lady with, instead of wings, she's got this wonderful tinted plastic fin trailing off behind her that you can actually see through. Over time, the old plastic materials would break down and start to crack from the heat of the sun and from the weather changes, making the clear turn to milky looking. Here's another example of where the plastic, while still in good shape structurally, has become faded and sort of yellow, and even has some scratches on it from years of who knows what. Colored plastic was also incorporated in the more deluxe models, like this blue or sort of purple-looking trim that starts at the front of the hood ornament and tapers off as it runs across the top, almost like rainwater would when speeding down the open road. This one has an interesting story behind it, kids, because the clear red plastic actually has an electric bulb inside that is connected to the headlamps of the car and lights up at nighttime, but the police made the owner disconnect the electric bulb because, by today's standards, you can't have red lights on the front of your car because it could be mistaken for a law enforcement vehicle. Some of these hood ornaments were missing their plastic inserts altogether, kids, but this one vintage owner made the best of it by temporarily placing one of his kids' little plastic dogs into the empty space while searching for an original replacement part. My favorite hood ornament of the day was this extra long, torpedo-looking sculpture with these little short wings that ran the entire length heading up to this clear plastic airfoil that helps to split the wind before it hits the windshield in an effort to keep the bugs from reaching the glass. It's like a windshield for a windshield. This one provided just the right amount of fibrillae to get Petaluma Pete fibrillating. Well, that about wraps it up, kids. Until next time, remember to be nice to everyone, listen to your teachers, and eat more veggies.
This is for kids only.
Hey kids, Petaluma Pete here, and we are in downtown Petaluma today, and we are going to learn a new word, and that word is Valentine. And this is a little Valentine that my little honey gave me. It says hugs and kisses, hugs and kisses, hugs and kisses. So anyway, we're going to go to a place where they are going to be celebrating Valentine's Day. That's over at the fairgrounds, so if you want to know more, come with me. The word Valentine is described as a written or other artistic work expressing affection for something or someone. And as this taxi ride rolls us over the D Street Bridge, kids, we're heading for Herzog Hall at the Sonoma Marin Fairgrounds to see and hear a Valentine performance by the Pacific Empire Chorus, a membership organization of female singers who meet regularly to practice, perform, socialize, and have fun. They currently have 40 singers of all ages and all walks of life and all parts of the greater Bay Area. Pacific Empire Chorus is a chapter of Sweet Adelines International, a non-profit organization of more than 30,000 members in choruses and quartets worldwide. And these songbirds are putting on a clam bake fundraiser, and we're almost there. Sitting in the back seat is not something Petaluma Pete does every day, kids. The driver was this really cool guy named James, and he knew all the shortcuts, and in no time we were there at the fairgrounds and heading all the way back to Herzog Hall, where we arrived early before they opened to find the entire choral group rehearsing their songs and doing vocal exercises that were really fun to watch. Let's take a moment here, kids, so you can see what we mean. cool, huh? These same singers also served as food servers, kids, so when they weren't singing, they were serving, and when they weren't serving, they were singing. Hartzog Hall is a huge round building, and in no time at all, hundreds of people from all over Sonoma County showed up. There were moms and dads, grandpas, grandmas, and kids. Kids were coming out of the woodwork and taking turns playing Petaluma Pete's piano, while their grown-ups placed bids in a silent auction for a whole gaggle of bottles of Big People's grape juice, and you could get professional pictures of your family taken for just $5. And there were singing valentines, of course, and tickets were sold for all this stuff, including the crab dinners and beverages. And the first of 2 Pacific Empire Chorus performances started before the food was served. And this is what it looked and sounded like. Petaluma Pete then held court, while our singers turned into servers. And they brought out the salad, and that was the best of times, kids, as families and friends spent quality time together while doing something good for their community. The tables were decorated all valentine-y, with red and white balloons and these very cool crab signs that had the family names written on them. And there was this very funny couple who really got into the spirit of the day by getting creative with their sign. There's one in every crowd. Most of our singing servers were serving at this point, but there were still a number of servers still singing. This time from table to table in smaller groups of 4 kids. That's called a quartet, and the harmonies were really great, and the next thing we knew, the second course was being delivered after the salad, and that was the pasta, and the kids and their grown-ups went crazy over it, while the servers back in the kitchen waited in line for seconds on salad. And there were these big balloons that you could buy, and when you popped them, you found a prize inside. And more pasta was served by the singers, and the anticipation was building for the serving of the main course, which was, of course, crab. And the quartets were now jumping from table to table, and the catering guy couldn't contain himself, so he came out from the kitchen just for a minute to take in the festivities. And there was this one kid who wanted to show Petaluma Pete a very good magic trick. She was really proud of this, and it was indeed an exceptionally clever trick. And that's when they started serving seconds on the pasta and running out of salad, and still no crab yet. But this kid didn't care, and this one certainly didn't. And they were already preparing the desserts back in the kitchen while they were making announcements about the progress and the closings of the various silent auctions. And Petaluma Pete started playing again, and then bam! At long last, out came the crab, kids. Miles and miles of crab. The location became a crustacean, gestation, liberation, nation sensation for the duration. Well, that about wraps it up, kids. But before we call that taxi cab back so we can make it back home safe and sound, let's give the Pacific Empire Chorus the stage here as they perform the perfect Valentine song. And until next time, please remember to be nice to everyone, listen to your teachers, and eat more veggies.